Oh, at last. Good morning, all. Good morning, all. Technical issues as always. Wi-Fi stream, the usual. But at least we're on this morning. We're on this morning, and hopefully we got the Aussie Gooner. Hopefully he can join us at some point today. Bless him. He's had a tough couple of days, and I don't just mean the Arsenal result, um, but I'm sure he'll be fine, and hopefully he can join us. But I am blessed for two guys that well been on stream together over the years, and I consider them good friends. And welcome to the one and only Luke. Luke, how you doing, man?
Morning, Brenny. Morning, Akpos. Morning, everyone watching, and to everyone watching later. Yeah, not too bad this morning. I've already been to my youngest's Christmas play, so got that done. He's normally quite shy, but he actually spoke up. He didn't have a big part, but he actually spoke up this year. He kind of, and he's he's my youngest. I've got 3 boys, and he's actually my loudest. So, at Christmas plays, I was kind of surprised he was so shy, but he actually spoke up today.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I'll miss those days. But hopefully I can get those days again soon. Maybe, who knows, in the future with regards to my granddaughter. So yeah. But Akpos, big up to you. How are you doing, sir?
Well, I'm doing good. I was just chatting with Luke backstage that I think most of us are feeling a bit better after Saturday's result. I think we've gotten time to go back and rewatch the game, go back and trying to take some positive out of the situation, and also coming to the reality for a lot of us that okay, I think we've been so good quite recent that when we draw, it feels like a loss. So when we eventually lose, it feels bad. But I think that's the standards. That's the expectation now for us. That we want to be on a winning streak. We want to win continuously. But I think Saturday's game should be a reality check for most of us that you can't win all the games in the season. There are going to be times where we'll have games like we had on Saturdays, dip in form, injuries affecting the results and all of that. So, but I think it's all good. 2 losses so far this season. I can't really complain. I'm just expecting and hoping that we'll pick ourselves back up immediately in the next game and get back to winning ways.
Yeah, no, I hear that. But yeah, so Saturday, Villa Park, never an easy place to go to, especially when you've got United in charge. Villa have always, over the last few seasons, even during the Gerrard era, you just didn't know what to do with them. They've always had quality players and players that can hurt you, but I always find it's their inconsistencies that let them down. Because I feel if there were no inconsistencies with Villa, I'd feel that I'm not saying they'd win titles, but I'd be saying they'd be reaching cup finals, winning cups. You know what I mean? And the potential's always been there with Villa, and especially with Unai Emery, and with what he's done with the club. I mean, last season they had Champions League aspirations, and PSG knocked them out. League form last season wasn't as good as the season before, but now they're looking like real contenders. But Luke, what's your thoughts on the 2-1 defeat? I personally didn't think that we were going to win the game. I thought we would draw the game, mainly because Arteta seems to set us up for draws at certain away grounds. It could be Villa Park, it could be Old Trafford, it could be the Etihad, Anfield, Stamford Bridge, to a degree, maybe even White Hart Lane. What was your thoughts, mate, on the defeat?
Well, I wasn't happy with the thing I wasn't most happy about the most was when we got it to 1-1. We came out in that second half. We were direct. We were playing with intent, playing with a purpose, and we got our goal. That's the time to kick on and get a second.
Yeah.
And then you can try the whole control and kill the game off tactics. Instead, we got the goal, and then we sat back, and we just missed our window to get a second. And it was always that Arteta always sets up teams with what I consider a narrow path to victory, which is what I don't like. He, like as you said, he sets us up to basically nick a game, especially away from home against the top teams. That's the way he sets us up. Now, George Graham did that as well.
Yeah.
Towards the end of his tenure, but you know, George Graham actually had strikers.
Yes.
You know, he had people that could nick a goal that on a more regular basis. And I know people will say, "Well, Trossard scored." Yeah, he did, and Trossard's probably been our best finisher this season, or he has been. But he hasn't always played wingers. It's hard to rely on wingers to score goals. George Graham had Ian Wright before, and he had Alan Smith. Super Kevin Campbell would come in and score important goals. He always had someone that could nick you a goal anyway.
Yep.
We don't play with that. Like even Gyökeres didn't start the game. He's meant to be that, but again, we don't play a style that lends itself that's centre forward friendly. Anyway, so you've got that working against us, but despite all that, we get ourselves back in the game, and that's the thing that disappointed me the most, because you always lend yourself the Arteta tactic is always at risk of what happened on Saturday, where they get a late winner, or what happened to Bosley when he scored that free kick. That's what I don't like about the way he sets us up. So I was very disappointed again with how he set us up.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that. I mean, for me, it was just like I said. I knew what sort of lineup he would put out. I think the lineup would have been stronger in terms of maybe playing Victor Gyökeres if we was, say, away at West Ham or away at Leeds, or you know what I mean. But I totally get you, and it's like one thing I will ask before I go to Akpos with Arteta. Do you think it's actually, you know what? I'm going to ask this afterwards. I'm going to ask both of you this because it's something that it's been playing on my mind since Saturday. But we'll go for Akpos's thoughts on Saturday, and then I'll both go to you about what I think with regards to Mikel Arteta. Akpos, what's your thoughts?
Well, for me, going to Villa, I expected it was going to be a top game. We were high flying. Villa also high flying. I think they are currently on a 7-game winning streak or something like that. I think they've been on top form. We've also been on top form, but I fancied us to be able to nick the result on the day. But I was talking to you earlier on backstage, Brenny, that one of the areas I thought we got wrong on Saturday was the starting 11. I think the manager got the personnel that started the game wrong with his tactics, because if you watch the first half, you could see that tactically Villa were winning the tactical battles, because I think the way they were set up to nullify us perfectly well, and they were getting the job done perfectly well. And for me, I think the left side was really not producing anything on the day, especially in the first half. Because I think Eze, for me, shifting Eze out of the number 10 position, that was one of the concerns I also had, because I was saying with the kind of fantastic form Eze was in, Eze needs to continue to start in the number 10 up until when Odegaard can show that, okay, I want to take the shirt off this guy. So for me, I think it was a wrong call to start Odegaard ahead of Eze in the number 10 position. That was one of the concerns that I had, because the cameo I saw from Martin Odegaard in the last game, I was personally not very impressed. And with how AZ has been getting the job done, giving us important goals, trying to be very, very direct, I thought AZ needed to start in the number 10 position. And when he was not working on the left, when the manager took off AZ, when he brought on Trossard, because I was saying bring on Trossard, in my opinion, and bring on Gyökeres. And I think the manager brought in both players, and we saw the difference. But I think I was just thinking maybe AZ should have come infield, and we should have taken off Odegaard, in my opinion, because AZ has been very effective in that number 10 position. I know they both play contrasting style. Odegaard is a different kind of number 10 to Eberici AZ, but AZ has been very direct, giving us the goal threat. Odegaard more wants to be on the control side, wants to detect the play, wants to give the assist. So, but for me, with what I've seen with Odegaard since he has returned, he has been out for a good period of time, but I think it was, concerning that he just came back, and after the cameo on the last game, he went straight back into the starting 11. So I think that was one of the concerns I had there, but because some people want to argue now that AZ did not produce much on the left, but all the good things he has been doing so far in the last couple of games has not come on the left side. We should remember that he has come when he has played in the number 10 and through the middle. So I thought that he should have gotten an opportunity to come back infield and show us what he could do in the second half. And also, I think bringing on Trossard and Gyökeres was the manager trying to correct the mistakes made in the starting 11, and we saw that they did improve us. But just maybe if he had gotten the personnel correctly from the start, maybe it would have been a totally different game, because in this particular game, Mikel Merino has been doing a fantastic job playing in the striker position. But against Villa, he was not able to impact that game. He was not able to impose himself on the Villa defense. But I think mistakes have been made. We've lost the game. I think it's now for us to go back to the drawing board and try to do things so much better. And Luke made a fantastic point when he was, trying to mirror what we did against Chelsea immediately when we scored, and how we took our foot out of the gas, out of the accelerator there. I think it's still the same trend that we have seen, under Mikel Arteta. Sometimes when we score, we tend to go back into a very relaxed mood. We saw that when we came out in the second half, we were going for the kill, and we kept applying pressure up until the minute when we scored. After scoring, it looked like we went into a very conservative kind of mode. That okay, we've gotten the goal for the day. We've scored a goal, 1 point it is. But I think I want to see the team more. We have players on the offensive end that can go give us goals, give us assists. I want to see us go applying the same amount of pressure we apply when we need to get a goal, to equalize, to be on the drawing side. Let's also continue to be on that attacking end and try to get the kill. Just maybe if we would have played with the same intensity, the same aggression that we did before we got the equalizer, maybe it could have totally been a different result. And I thought in the first half we had chances. In my opinion, we had some chances here and there that we did not take. I think that is also something we need to put into account. We need to be so much clinical when we are getting the chances. We know that the way we play, we don't create surplus, too much surplus of chances. So when we get the chances, we need to take the goals. We need to score goals. We need players that can score us goals on the pitch. And that's also what Luke was also saying, that in the George Graham era, we had quality strikers that could give you goals, quality strikers that could give us goals. But we are seeing now under this Mikel Arteta system, we are relying on wingers. We are relying on, midfielders to ship in goals. Yep. So we need these guys to take the chances when they come. And also, this is also one concern while I would have also preferred AZ being on the pitch, because we need players that, take on shots. Odegaard took a very good shot that, what's his name? The goalkeeper for Aston Villa, Emil Martinez denied. But I think with AZ and Odegaard, we know who's going to give you more shot on goal. We know who's going to be more direct. So this is one reason why I think for now, I think AZ needs to be starting in a number 10 up until when we have a Odegaard that is firing on all cylinder. For me, I think Eze Odegaard, let him fight for the number 10 shirt for now. Let's play proper wingers up on the wing, because I think Eze has not been able to replicate the kind of performance, the kind of, directness, the goals he has been giving us on in a number 10 position when he's moved on the left. He has not been very effective on the left. So I want to see him continue playing the number 10. Let him and Odegaard fight for the number 10 position, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with both your comments, and I find that with that you know what, actually, for what I was going to say something there with regards to Mikel Arteta. Nothing brutal, but just something aside. But I'll ask you both that later on. But just with regards to say Eze, for example, I know there was those where he lost Matty Cash. Yeah, he lost Matty Cash, right? And it's one of those things. I mean, that's always going to happen regardless of who's that. I mean, I know he would feel a way about that as well. But you know what I mean? And oh right, who's that? Sorry, chat. Oh, it's Steve-O. Yeah, Apros, just ask him. Yeah, he can come and join in. He's got the link. He doesn't need to apologise with regards to work. So anytime he wants to come in, he can just come in.
All right.
He can come in now if he wants.
Because I just say something about that first goal, Brennan. Now, I know you played organised football. I don't know if you did Aquos, but you probably were, at school, and you've been coached. I was always coached.
Yeah.
If you're a forward, but you find yourself in defence, act like it. Yeah, do something.
Yeah.
Don't just be, well, I'm a forward, so I don't have to do nothing. If you're back there, act like it. And so he needed to do better, but at the same time, now he's getting stick for that. But where the hell was Califorri? What was he doing?
Yeah.
Why under this manager does the left back? What I've never understood why this manager. The only player that has a free role in this Arteta system is the left back. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever come across.
Yeah.
Well, I want Eze. Eze or Odegaard should be the free role. They should have, and that's the one player I don't want having to come back and defend.
Yeah, 100%.
I think you need to have. Okay, you can have your number 9, or you can have your number, like your attacking number 10. Do that. I don't want my best, most creative players having to play left back when we've got a left back.
Yeah, exactly that. And we saw where Calafiori was for that first goal, and I'm like, what are you doing there? You know what I mean? And it's Eze that's trying to make the effort for. I mean, if I look at it and I'd say if Eze was a left back, then you know what I mean. But it's just something that we're talking about Eze now, and it's just something that AFC. You probably just read that as well, but and one lapse of concentration, he gets hooked, and then if Safeguard can stink up the pitch with no consequences, Odegaard slows everything down. Yeah, he does, and we know Odegaard's got quality, but for me, I think Eze has something more, and Eze as well for me, he has from the first minute to the 95th minute in injury time. It's not just about him and his goals, but he's a moments player. He can do you something compared to Odegaard. He can give you something in that one moment, or all of a sudden he puts his through ball in, and it's Martinelli's on hand to put the ball in the net, or he can get puts his through ball in to Saka. I trust him more than Odegaard from the first to the last minute to get the winner or get us an equaliser.
When he sees a run, he makes the pass there instantly.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
And Odegaard faffs about.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And that's the difference between the two.
And that's a major difference in their game. You just brought up Luke. That's a major difference in their style. because Eze sees the pass, sees the run. I think the goal against Bayern Munich, the one Martinelli scored, immediately it saw Martinelli on that run. One time, that was a one-time pass. If that was Odegaard, maybe he would have gone sideways. Exactly. Maybe he would have gone sideways or tried to, do a 1-2 before he releases the player. And maybe the player might have been in an offside position, or the defense had been would have recovered back and covered that space. So I think that's also one of their difference in their style. So but like you rightly said, there's also a very key comment by AFC Always that's agreeing with the point I was making earlier on with why did the manager start AZ on the left? And because I think all that was done to accommodate Martin Odegaard. I understand it. It's okay. But my point is, why did he have to sacrifice AZ at the end of the at the end of the day for Odegaard? Because just like Luke was saying, AZ should have done better for the goal. 100%. He should have done better, because just like Luke was saying, if you're an attacking player and you find yourself in a defensive position, you become a defender at that point. You need to get the defensive job done, because we have also seen it, especially with our system, when one player goes out of position, another player is filling in. So sometimes we even see Saka with that understanding. Saka has got with the right back. He does it sometimes when a right back is out of position. You can see Saka in a very defensive position sometimes, trying to recover the ball. So for me, I think AZ needs to tune itself into the defensive duties also. Maybe at Palace it did not need to do that very often, but at Arsenal it would need to do that. It would need to stay switched on. But Luke also pointed to Calafiori, because I think one of the reasons we considered that goal was also Calafiori not being in the position that Eze found himself in. Because if that was Calafiori there, he could have gotten the job done, because he's a defender by trade. He has a defensive awareness and all of that. But I think
Plus, you're on mute.
Yeah. It was my mic. I was going to say I had a big question mark with the manager sacrificing AZ just the way he did. But I think it has happened, lessons learned. But moving forward, I want to see AZ and Odegaard going in for the number 10 shirt at the moment. Let both players go on out there and may the best man win. If Odegaard is the one, doing all the good things in training, doing better in the match, let him be in the number 10. Let AZ be on the bench, because so far I have also thought that AZ should come in and get the job done on the left, but on the left he has not been able to replicate that magic that he has given us in the number 10 position. So for me right now, let him and Odegaard may the best man win in the number 10 position.
100%. And do you guys agree, Luke, do you agree with regards to Odegaard? Do you think he's better in an 8 or better in a 10? And then at Boss, you give me your thoughts afterwards, because I think he's better in an 8 than a 10, in my opinion.
He doesn't have the quickness of thought for a number 10, or he doesn't. He's not decisive. He doesn't make decisions quick enough for me. So he could be in certain situations, if you just want to keep the ball and you want to see out a game, he can come on and do that. For me, Eze needs to play in number 10. He's not. Yeah. When people were talking, when we were first linked with him, and people were saying he can play on the left, I was like, well, I've seen him play on the left for England, and he was crap.
Yeah. I've said the same.
He didn't play on the left for Crystal Palace. He played a left 10. Yeah. They had like a different. They had like a bit of a strange setup.
Yeah.
But
Dua number 10.
Yeah.
With full backs. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't playing on the left for Crystal Palace.
Wing backs, right now, yeah.
Perhaps people didn't watch Crystal Palace much when he was there. But when I saw him, and admit, I didn't see Crystal Palace every week either, but whenever I saw him, he was never playing on the left wing. It was only England do daft things like that because that's what England does.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't need to do that.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Palace. I saw Palace quite a few times last season, live games, and them like Bournemouth, like Brentford. And Brighton. I enjoyed watching those teams play. And Eze, the freedom that Oliver Glasner gave him last season, it was just like wow. You know what I mean? And no pressure, nothing. I know it's a different kind of pressure playing for the Arsenal, but I think with Eze, he just needs to. He's already shown his quality in games, and no, he's got more. But the question is will this manager sacrifice his captain, his favourite? And this is the thing about favourites. I mean, what about you, Akpros? Do you think better in an 8 or better in a 10?
Well, for me, I think the number 10, the number 8 situation for Odegaard is a lot of us also want to see Arsenal playing in some games. We know it's not going to happen against the teams like Villa. In some games with Eze and Odegaard on the pitch. Eze and Odegaard on the pitch with one of Declan Rice and Martin Zubimendi, in my opinion, because I think that would also give us a different dynamics. I think we were about to see it in the game where Odegaard got injured. The last game where Odegaard got injured. I think that was the starting. I think, there were some concerns in the control of the midfield with that both number 10s on the pitch. But I think they give us more going forward. So I would also want to see it in some games because I think now we have a Martin Zubimendi that has come into the team and he has settled in fantastically well for a player that's just joined a new club. He's been playing like somebody who has been with this group for a long time. And you have a Declan Rice who is high flying right now, one of the best midfielders out there. And so I think it makes it difficult for Mikel Arteta to drop either of them to accommodate Eze and Odegaard on a more consistent level. So I think, just like Luke was saying, it has to be either one of them right now. On a consistent basis, but in some games, let's also see both of them on the pitch with maybe Odegaard dropping as a number 8 and Eze as a number 10. Or maybe we can also see both of them as 2 10s with one number 6 behind them. I think the way we play, we have the defensive solidity to also see that. Let's also see what that could also bring to the side. If that could be, what would give us an opportunity to create more chances. But my concerns with that is going to be the balance on the defensive and the control side of the midfield. If we are going to be put under pressure, would Eze and Odegaard would they give the number 6 enough support? Would they also be able to give the defense enough support? Because one of the reasons why we have that kind of defensive solidity that we have is because of the midfield. We have a midfield that is very solid defensively and very quick to win the ball back because of we know the engine that Declan Rice has got is very good in recovering possession back. Martin Zubimendi also can nicking the balls, take the balls back. So I think that's also part of why we are that very strong defensively, because I think we would also be sacrificing a bit of that if we have Odegaard and Eze on the pitch at the same moment. So I think it's give and take at the end of the day. We need to find the right balance with these things. So let's see if the manager is also willing to have both of them on the pitch, and we will also see if that would work out for us and we will not lose that defensive solidity that we have.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. You know what I mean? Great, always great points there as usual. And also, need to big AFC always and Arsenal above all. That's in the chat.
Seems we're losing Brenny. Brenny, I hope you're there.
Yep, he's gone sideways.
I am there. It's just okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm back.
Okay.
I'm back.
Good.
Yeah. So no, I was just saying yeah. So big up to Arsenal Bubble and AFC always in the chat. And while my phone's going all over the place. Yeah. So this I do get. I mean, yeah, Arteta needs to know and understand how to utilise players to their strengths. and switch up the style of play. Also, learn more about game management. Well, we've been saying that for the longest while. I mean, before we talk about the equalising goal, what's your thoughts on AFC's comment there? I'll start with you, Luke.
Well, the thing for me is what I was saying earlier about game management, and game management isn't just about substitutions. It's when to hold, when to attack, and we've all said how he goes into we play cautiously every time we get behind, we get back into it, and then we play cautiously. That's poor game management.
Yeah,
you've got to know when. It's pretty easy to know because when you've got the momentum, that's the time to keep going, keep attacking. I'm not saying, no one's saying go on the attack when the other team are having a good spell. You've got to see that out. We all know this game. When the other team are going strong, having a good spell, you've got to try and see that out, and then you get your chance. You don't need to gift momentum to the opposition team. It's not how. To me, that's not the way you win things. You're not going to win anything with that mentality.
100%, mate. Well, what are you at, Plus? What do you think?
Oh, I totally agree with the points that Luke is making right now, because for me, I think I totally one example I want to point out is we saw how Villa kept attacking us when we took our foot off the gas. When we took our foot off the gas, they kept attacking us up until the minute where they got the goal. Even the goal that we considered, the second goal, you saw that the attack was persistent. We were defending, we were blocking shots, you understand, but they kept coming at us. And that was one of the things that I think we did wrongly in the game. When we had the momentum, till up until when we scored that goal, we kept attacking them. But what happened afterwards when we got the equalizer, that's the concerns that I have, because if we had kept on with that same aggression, that same momentum, we would have gotten the second goal. So because that second goal was very important, in my opinion. That second goal was very important. In a game like that, when you score the first one and you don't score the second one, there is always a chance of you losing the game.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Getting that second goal would have been a security for us. If we had gotten the second goal, it ended in a 2-2 draw at the end of the day, I think we would have still come home with 1 point. That puts us in a better situation. So I think just maybe the manager and his team need to go back and try to look at it, because I think that one goal cushion sometimes could just be the difference for you. Because imagine if we did not get the second goal against Sunderland, that could have been a defeat, in my opinion. So I think when we get the equalizer, I don't want to care who we're facing. I don't want to care the ground we are in. Let's try to get the second goal. If we get the second goal, that puts us in a better situation. And just maybe if we get the second goal, we can get the third one. But I think that's a different conversation entirely, because some people would say, okay, that's throwing caution to the wind. But we have the attacking prowess now. We have the attacking quality now. Let's attack these teams. Let's try to get the goals, because if you look at the bench on Saturday, you could see that we have the quality. When we made the substitution, you could see that he affected the game. But all of these things we are seeing, it's a pattern. It's the instructions, the manager's instructions saying, okay, don't attack, hold, and, try to see the game off. But I think the manager needs to try to go for the kill. The manager needs to try to go for the kill, because let's say last season we might say we don't have the tools when we got all of the injuries and all of that. But now we have the bench. Now we have the quality. Now we have the attacking players available. Let's score goals. Goals will win you games, in my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah. Facts as always from both of you. Oh, yeah. And Arsenal above all, I agree with Luke. I think I'd say we'll remain stubborn and play his favourites, like Odegaard. Yeah, regardless of form of others. You know what I mean? The Arsenal media team have already prepped the journos with the Havertz story. Yeah, exactly that. You know what I mean? And he's just added as well. Stand by. I mean, and that will be, and and that he will be the number one striker when he returns in December. And I've said that. I've said that for the longest while with regards to Kai Havertz. But also, so really, so obviously, you know what happened with the first goal, the equalising goal. Trossard came on, did what he had to do. He had, cropped again slightly, but I've been very pleased with Trossard's input. But what is your take, Luke, on the equalising goal?
Yeah, it was just we was on top, weren't we? And we had some decent opportunities before that, and it was just that's what happens when you put pressure on and you sustained pressure.
Yeah,
that's what can happen. Yes, sometimes the opposition they get lucky with blocks. Sometimes the goalie makes unbelievable saves, but more often than not, if you've got the quality and you can sustain the pressure, you'll get rewarded for it, and that's what happened with Trossard, and he's one of our best finishers, isn't he? So
yeah.
Happy that he was able to come on and give us what he gave us. Hopefully, he can. I've seen some reports that he might have sustained another injury, but I was happy with his performance. And he's actually, I think he's been a lot better this year so far. I thought last year I wasn't always that happy with him. He'd give it the big I am. But he scored at Villa last year, gave it the big I am, because he came on as a sub and then was crap for the next few months, like the rest of the team. So at least this year he's actually backing it up. If you're going to give it the big I am, back it up, and I've got no problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I just think that's probably because we've got more competition now, and he's working harder to keep his place. You know what I mean? But what about yourself, Akpos, with regards to the equaliser? What's your take on it?
Just give me a minute. I'll join back.
No problem.
Sorry, apologies.
That's okay. Yeah, and what we'll do is with Trossard now. So what I just said, Luke, do you agree with that? Do you think maybe it's because we've got a squad now, and maybe he's probably thinking, well, I cannot be complacent. I need to keep my place inside. What do you reckon?
Well, yeah, you can't. It's like I said, you can't give it the big I am and then disappear for months, because you will be replaced. He's not one of Arteta's stepsons, is he? So I think Arteta likes him, but he's not like Odegaard or Eddie was. He's not a stepson of the manager. So he knows that his minutes will go to someone else. And he's probably thinking, Arsenal have been linked with numerous left wingers over the years.
Yeah,
and we're still being linked with them. So he's thinking, I need to keep this up, because I won't be in the team otherwise.
Yeah. I totally agree with that, because you see, with all this talk about Semenyo, and you know what I mean, it's just and what other wingers been talking about? I know
the Turkish fella, what's his name? Yildiz or Yildiz?
Yildiz. Yeah, Yildiz. So with that, and everyone at Arsenal knows what's going on when they hear, it could be regardless of whether it's rumours or not. So he'd be thinking, I've got to keep my place. And I think that's why Gabriel Martinelli as well, he seems to be more effective coming off the bench this season, and he's working hard to try and keep his place in the team. But yeah, Akpos, we were talking about the equalising goal. I mean, what was your take on that?
I totally agree with the points that Luke has made, because for me, I think the pressure was consistent from Villa. They kept coming at us. They kept the manager in Unai Emery was making offensive changes, also players that it thought could affect the game. And for their side, I think if you look at the play leading to the goal, we did a lot of good defensive work, good defensive blocks from the defenders there. But I think it was just going to be a goal for them. So, but credit to the Villa team, because I think on the day they were the better team. They were persistent, and they deserve to get all 3 points. I think our overall performance for me was not on the top level. Was not on the top level. I think the team performed poorly. The manager also, I think he also did not do a fantastic job. So I will give the manager some blame, give the team also some blame. But I think the goal was a difference between how we played and how Villa played, because Villa they sustained the pressure on us. But we had the spell when we were doing very well. We did not continue to apply the pressure after we scored, but they looked like the team that wanted the second goal more, and deservingly they got it. So I can't complain too much, in my opinion. But I think it is something we need to take back to the drawing board and also learn from the mistakes. Take lessons learned from that defeat, take lessons learned from that loss, and how we need to not make these mistakes moving forward. Because for me, I think mistakes can happen. We all make mistakes in our everyday, day-to-day life, our everyday day-to-day job. So when it happens like this, it's not the end of the road. It's not the end of the season for us. But where I would have concerns is if we do not learn from these mistakes, if we do not learn from this mistake against Villa, and we move, let's say, 3-4 games more after this mistake, we continue to repeat the same mistakes. I want to say the manager and the team learn from the mistake against Villa and try to make them take those mistakes, improve on them, and try to be the better team moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's like AFC always thought when we were just talking about Trossard a few minutes ago about, do your talking on the pitch, and that, you know what I mean? That up, yeah, and that's what Trossard is doing that, So yeah, totally agree.
In fairness, he does. Yeah, he gives it the big I am, but on the pitch, but you don't see him in the media. You don't see kind of cryptic Instagram or Twitter tweets. He's you don't see him running off to the media, some sort of, I don't know, interview back home with a Belgian newspaper comes back in translation. He does keep it in house. Whatever he says, I think he says it to the manager, and so in that respect, I've got no problem with that, and I quite like that. He's a personality, isn't he? He's got something about him, hasn't he, Trossard? So I like players like that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then we move on as well, Akpos, to the winning goal. Very scrappy. I thought we should have just blasted that out of Villa Park, the ball, but sometimes when it comes to our clearances, they're not always the greatest, and for me, sometimes I've played as a centre back before. I mean, I was always a striker, but there was one season in my life I played. I must have been about 13 at the time, and I played as a centre back. It was because I was very quick and very strong, and I remember, I know it was 80s football, but just kicking a ball out of touch, managers never ever got the ump about it. I know there's nothing wrong with playing the ball out from defence. If you keep it to, obviously, you could be playing the ball, say, at Timber, and then Timber will play the ball in midfield. I haven't got an issue with that. But in a situation like that, where you're close to a point and it looks like you're not going to win the game, just blast it in the rose head. I mean, you know what I mean? Apos, what was your take on Villa's winning goal?
I actually thought that the question you asked initially was about the winning goal, though. So my answer was a little bit on that side. But for me, I think just like you were saying with the winning goal, maybe if we had cleared the ball, it would have prevented the winning goal. But I think the pressure at that moment from Villa was consistent, because I think before the goal we had a sequence of how many blocks before they actually put the ball on the back of the net. And
yeah,
I can't complain too much. Because we all know how defensively solid we are on our day. So I think the goal was bound to happen because we did not really sustain our pressure on the other end. So I can't complain too much.
Yeah. Luke?
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it, where we don't know what the players are actually told what to do. I suspect that they are told to just play it out at every opportunity. Personally, yeah, I think again it comes to game management. You've got to know when to attack, when to defend, when you can play it out. Yeah, there's times we want to play it out, don't we? But sometimes David Raya just lumps it forward.
Yeah.
Because there's not a pass on. And I think I was told that. Yeah, I was coached that. When I was playing either centre back or right back, I was told just boo it out. But it's just one of those things. And once it gets in the box and it ping bongs like that, you're just hoping for luck, and we didn't get any.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, AFC. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly.
Get down, kick it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, isn't it?
Habit, like the old John Smith advert. I don't know. Agpos might not know that one with Peter Kay.
Oh, it's so funny. I'll have to put that in the chat. I'll put that in it's one of the funniest adverts going. Because when we first started, it's like you didn't even know where that was going. But yeah, so guys, Akpos, I'll start with you. I want to also talk about something that's it's been doing arounds with Arsenal fans in the even from the Chelsea game. Do you think that we have missed Saliba and Gabriel? Because I'm talking about before Mosquera's injury. Yeah, Mosquera and Hincapié, and I think that they're really good defenders. They're players that have had seasons at their last clubs, like Valencia and Bayer Leverkusen. You know what I mean? And what's your thoughts on that? Because for me, I rate these guys, and I think they're better deputies than for our top two that we had from before. I mean, you had when the likes of say Rob Holding or even what's his name, Mustafi, for example. We weren't blessed with great centre halves even during the end of Wenger's tenure. So what do you think of these two? Well, before Mosquera's injury, that was appetising for Saliba and Gabriel.
Well, for me, we've greatly missed both first choice starting centre backs. I think AFC always agrees with me on that one because the comment there said 100% we are missing Gabriel and Saliba, and also we need to look at the contribution that these guys also do on the other end and in the opposition 18-yard box, because if you noticed, we've lost our threats from corner kicks, from free kicks, things. Both first choice centre backs have been out injured, because we also know that in terms of attacking the ball, nobody does it better than Gabriel Magalhaes. So I think that has been a sting that has also been taken out of our attacking side of the game. We've lost that effectiveness from corner kick, because we know that whilst teams are focused on Gabriel, on trying to stop Gabriel, other players are also doing the damage from the corner kicks. So I think we've lost that presence in free kicks, in set piece situation. We don't have that effectiveness that we once had while we have both first choice centre backs pairing. I think that has also been one of the areas that we've missed them greatly. And in the defensive side of the game, Mosquera and Iero Hincapié have come in. They've done a fantastic job. I've been so impressed with Christian Mosquera, because he has come in from Valencia, and like Luke was saying earlier on in the show, there are levels to this. Valencia currently have not been the Valencia of the old, where they've been, doing great things in La Liga. But so far, I think he has come in from a player who has been playing in important games to a player that's playing in a side that is going after the title, a side that's going after to win silverware. So I think that's been a huge step up for Mosquera, and so far I must say I'm impressed with how this young talent has handled himself. In Iero Hincapié, I think we have a player who has, been in the mix of a title contending side. He has come in with, the experience of a title winner in Bundesliga. So I think there are different levels. Nkapie has, been tested more on that side of competing to win the league. But these guys have come in with different qualities to what Saliba and Gabriel brings to the team. Those two, I think, they are elite centre backs, in my opinion. And I'll put Yero Nkapie a little bit closer to them. And, underneath, Mosquera will come in for me, because I think these guys have come in with different skill sets. We do not expect them to come in and replace Gabriel and Saliba, because that's a total different level entirely. But I'm bigging up Mosquera and Nkapie. They have come in to do a fantastic job. But Gabriel and Saliba are irreplaceable, in my opinion, and we have greatly missed them in terms of what they will give us on the attacking side, and also what they bring to this team defensively, because Gabriel, we know, is the leader of that back four. Saliba is not as much as vocal as Gabriel, but we know is the one that, clean up the messes, clean up things calmly, making vital tackles. So I think we've missed very
Time. Only two big movements. Going me. Then what? Okay, I need
What's
to
going
do
on?
that first.
You are there, Apos.
Two big movements. Going me. Now,
I don't know what's happening. It's like there's like
I don't know.
interference on the line.
Yeah, it's like that's an amazing voiceover.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I'm sorry. I think what happened is one airport device connected to the computer. That was what happened.
It was like
I've got a great voiceover.
I thought we'd come back to the early 90s where you got like you was on the phone to someone and you suddenly someone else was on the line.
That was exactly what happened. A airport device in my home just connected, because I'm using a MacBook, so it just connected and took off the audio. So I did not notice up until when I saw the Apple notification on the computer. So apologies, gents. Apologies to everyone on the stream. That was technology getting the best of me there.
Yeah, no worries, man. But Luke, we missing our big guns at centre back.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and it's not like I was saying. Me and Akpos were talking backstage, and these aren't kind of. They're better than just your backups, but
yeah, way better.
They've come in and they've come in from up, and they were starters at their previous clubs.
Yeah.
So they've got that respect. But Saliba and Gabriel have been playing together for what, 3 years? It's 3 seasons, isn't it?
Yeah, for their 4th season together. Yeah.
And they've the threat, as Agpos was saying, the threat that Gabriel has from set pieces and corners, which is a get out of jail card for us when and he is that leader of that defense. And right now, you wouldn't expect a 21-year-old to come in and be a leader straight away.
No.
Piero Nkapie, I don't know if he was a leader at Bayer Leverkusen.
I know he was very integral to their invincible.
Well, one of the mainstay in Xabi Alonso's winning team.
But was he the leader of that defense though?
They had other top guys. I think they had Tapsoba, one player that, funny enough, that's been linked with us in years past. Edmonton's Tapsoba. They've got Nkapie. I think
does he captain
left back? I don't know if he's
Romando or something. The left back, the left wing back sometimes.
So I don't know. Is he that? Yeah, because in my experience in any work I've been, a leader is a leader from day one.
Yeah.
They don't need to, and they are just that. that type of personality is that type of personality. They don't need to settle in. They are that man. So when you've got that, if neither of them are that type of personality, and it affects the whole team, because Declan Rice, Zubimendi, and Martin Odegaard now aren't gonna feel so secure to go forward, whilst those two are settling in. It's just natural. Like they're going to be like especially Declan Rice is going to be. I need to keep an eye on these two.
One eye behind.
Yeah, and now that doesn't mean that stays like that forever. The more games, unfortunately, we've lost Mascara now. But the more games Hincapié plays, the more he might not be that type of Tony Adams leader, but he will settle in and give more calmness to the midfielders in front of him.
Yeah.
So in that respect, that's where it's the real big miss. Hopefully Saliba comes back, and he's not, as Akpos said, he's not really a leader like Gabriel is, but he is integral to the way we build up from the back, and he will settle the midfielders in front of him, and that will help Hincapié then, because he's got someone that's been here for a little while. So in that respect, that's where they are really a miss. There might not be that much difference, in their sort of actual abilities. It's just it's how they make everyone else play and feel around them.
Exactly, the understanding.
The understanding. And they got chucked in, didn't they? I didn't know that Saliba was injured going into that Chelsea game. And so they both got chucked into that Chelsea game.
Makeshift,
and so it was always going to be a bit hairy, scary at that first game. But I thought it's really bad now with Mascara, because with Saliba out, that was really a great opportunity for him to get more minutes and play in this team. But it is what it is.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, we've been going at this almost an hour, but let's just a couple more questions for both of you. And I was gonna bring up something about Mikel Arteta, but we've more or less already covered that in terms of when he fears where he goes, and I think with this squad we got, he shouldn't be fearing anyone at all. You know what I mean? But one thing I will ask you, and it is a concern of mine, maybe it's because I was a striker, is Akpos, I'm going to ask you first. Should we worry about Victor Gyökeres, or do you feel he'll start banging in the goals on a regular basis? What's your thoughts on him?
With Victor Gyökeres, for me, I don't think we need to be worried. I think it's down to the manager, in my opinion, because it did not win the best strikers award by mistake. By just won in the Ballon d'Or ceremony. That tells you that this guy is a goal scorer by trade. It does not just happen that he wins it by mistake. So for me, he has the proven track record of scoring goals. It is left for the manager to bring out a system that would make him score goals. I don't know who put out the comment that was talking about Mikel Arteta playing best to the strength of his players. I think one of the reasons why we've seen Gyökeres struggled, it's a system thing, in my opinion. The manager needs to fine-tune the system as much as possible to get the best quality out of this player, for us to utilize it, for us to provide him the chances that he needs, for us to, use his strengths. We know what he's good at. He's good at making the runs in behind defense. We need to create this situation for him. But I think also one thing we need to put into account is the way teams face us, especially when we are playing in the Premier League. We are seeing that teams want to sit back. They want to, they don't want to give us that space in behind for us to operate. And that's also coupled with the fact that while we're seeing a player that relies mostly on a space like Gabriel Martinelli to struggle. But for me, I think if Victor Gyökeres would be a success at Arsenal this season, it's going to be tied down to Mikel Arteta. will Mikel Arteta fine-tune his system to get the best out of one of the best strikers out there currently in the world? Because we know that Victor Gyökeres is going to score goals. We need to put him in the situation that is going to score goals. With the system that we are going to use, put him in this situation. Will our players that are playing around him provide the chances for him to score goals? These are the question marks that I think needs to be answered. Because I think Gyökeres, what we have seen is in the games that he played before he got injured, he has given our wingers more opportunities because now we have a presence through the middle that center backs are focusing on, and he has made the wingers get more chance to score goals. So I think that's also something that he has added into our game. But I think it's down to the manager and Mikel Arteta to get the best out of Victor Gyökeres. I think he needs to get his system right.
Yeah, 100% he does. He really does. And hopefully, Victor can deliver this season. I mean, we're all confident he can. We know what quality he possesses. I mean, Luke, same question. Victor Gyökeres, my man.
Well, the thing I was concerned about Gyökeres was I saw a lot of his goals. They scored for Sporting Lisbon, and I thought, well, he's not going to get those opportunities at Arsenal. We don't play a system that's friendly to centre forwards. Every centre forward that Arteta's had has struggled. You know, he had a golden boot winner in Aubameyang, and he made him play on the left wing. He had Lacazette. He ran him into the ground. Now Lacazette was never prolific at Arsenal. He has been at Lyon, but he ran him into the ground. The only sort of players that have done well for him, for a short spell, Jesus and Havertz in spells can do well for him. We've seen Marino do okay. I don't think Marino's that great, to be honest with you, but he at least he fits what Arteta wants better.
Exactly. What the system.
But the thing with Gyökeres is I've seen things from his game. Like, technically, I don't think he's that good. I don't think he can. He can't play. When you think back to sort of players from the past, like a Duncan Ferguson or Noel Quinn, he can't play that sort of role. It seems.
Yeah,
he's not that type. And my biggest concern was is he going to actually do much for us in this system with a manager like Arteta? And I didn't understand why we signed him, to be honest with you, because for me, Arteta could have prime R9 and he would make him play left back. So I think prime R9 Ronaldo would struggle in this Arteta system, and he was one of the best strikers we've ever seen. With Gyökeres, I think if you put him in through on goal, I think he's got that instinct to finish, unlike say Kai Havertz, who's probably always looking to pass. But it's just a big concern of mine what we do with this guy, because we spent 60 million on him. It seems like it was something more Berta driven, and it's like Arteta's he's played him. I think he likes some aspects about him. Like when Akpos was talking about, he does occupy the centre halves, and so he is being effective from that point of view. But when Havertz comes back, he still could be. Maybe he can find a role in the team, much like Martinelli, where he can come on, and maybe that will be his role.
Yeah, but look, I think it will be very interesting for us to have spent that much on one of the hottest strikers in Europe or in the world, and it would now become a bench player. In my opinion, it will be interesting to see what the manager would do.
I think he's got no problem with that, because I think he sees it's not his player. If it's his player,
and it will be interesting to see what the ownership and the board would do about that, in my opinion, because I think no ownership would want to spend that much for a player that they considered one of the best out there, and all of a sudden it becomes a bench player because, personally, I've been thinking that okay, we will get to the point where the manager would need to choose what he's going to do in Kai Havertz and Gyökeres, because I think either of one of them would be too expensive to become a backup player, because Kai Havertz, for me, it's on a massive wage, huge signing, and it would now become a backup to Victor Gyökeres. One has to go on the long term. I don't think it is sustainable for a long-term plan, in my opinion. One has to go, and we all know who's going to go eventually, in my opinion. If Mikel Arteta is, even if he's still here, in my opinion, because I think the board will not sanction that they give you that amount of money and you want to ship off Victor Gyökeres. I don't think it happens.
I can't see Havertz back in midfield though, Akpos. I can't do that again.
No. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it to you. I don't want to see, but I'm just looking at what's going to happen on the long term, because for Kai Havertz to be on that much salary and would, let's say, a backup striker of the Victor Gyökeres, I think that's a very expensive kind of business, considering also how much we paid for him in terms of sign-on fee.
Yeah, I get that.
It depends how he manages them, though, isn't it? I mean, if they're getting plenty of minutes and they're getting the same sort of minutes, more or less, or one's getting slightly more than the other, perhaps Arteta will get away with it in that respect. But we don't know what's gone on, because we know he wanted Sesko, but didn't want to do that deal. So he said to him, well, I'm not doing that deal it's too much money. So they went out,
which was the right decision. I think that was a fantastic decision not to do that deal.
So they went out and got the hottest striker in Europe for the 2 seasons previous, and I think they've just said, well, Arteta, make it work. We believe you're the best manager in the world. Make it work with this guy. And perhaps I might be doing Gyökeres a bit of a disservice, because there's things I haven't really liked about his game, but there is what I did like about him on Saturday when he came on. He is direct. He does try to make things happen.
Exactly.
I need him to be a bit more of a bulldozer and kind of take ownership of the game. But maybe he's been told not to by Arteta.
Maybe.
Interesting. And Luke, to add to something that you just pointed out, I think one of the concerns that I had with Gyökeres in the first couple of games this season, I said it on a stream with the Osigona Steve, was I did not think it was using his physical size lot more that I would have loved him to do. There was a particular game, I can't remember if it was the game before Newcastle, and I thought it was throwing himself down way too easily for a big boy of that size. I want to see him, standing his ground, because I think he has got the physical build to stand his ground against the bullish defenders, because I think that is something he can do very well, because just like you rightly pointed out, he's not a very technical player. I'm not expecting him to come in and become a Dennis Bergkamp all of a sudden. That is not a strength. That is not something that he has shown well before. What he has shown well before, he has got the strength, he has got the size to bulldoze his way all over to the box. And if he finds himself through on goal, he will put the ball on the back of the net. I think we need to give him this situation, but he also needs to create room for things like this to happen, to be more stronger. Try not to throw himself on the ground too often, because the referees, the officials in the Premier League are not going to give you fouls for that. He needs to plant his foot down on the turf and be way more strong. I think he has the size, he has got the strength. He just needs to stop trying to get these cheap fouls, in my opinion.
No, definitely. No, I mean, that was a great take, great opinions there from both of you on that. Now, just to end before we wrap this up, Bruges on Wednesday night, I think it is. Wednesday we're playing Bruges. We're playing Bruges away. I'm not gonna talk too much about it. I'm quite happy with our Champions League form at the moment. I think we all are. But I would start with you, Luke. Just a score prediction for Wednesday, please. Well, both of you actually, but Luke first.
Right. Depending, I mean, the team that I would play, I would rotate for this game. I don't want to see Declan Rice and Zubimendi over there. So
Same here.
I'm potentially risking a defeat here on top of another, which is not ideal. But I want to see Declan Rice 100% for Wolves. So if he goes with a team that I would go with. I might, I'd be. I think 1-1 would. Just. I don't want to lose the game, so go out there, don't lose, just get a point if you can, and or get a win if you can. But get a point. We've got 5 wins. We've done the work already. I think unfortunately this is a game we have to rotate for. We can't rotate too much with the defence, of course, because most of them are injured. So with midfield and with our forwards, I would like to rotate as much as possible for this game.
I agree. Mate. What about you, Atpos? Wednesday?
I agree with the points that Luke has already raised. I would want to see the manager rotate players that have gotten a lot of minutes, like Declan Rice. I think they need a breather. They need to see this one out. A player like Christian Norgard that's not playing much. Norgard needs to start. Eitan Nwaneri needs to start. So, but for me, I think when I look at the quality of the players that are coming in, I think this is also a game that I think we can win. Maybe a 1-0 victory, a 2-1 victory. But I think the players that are going to come in can give us result, because Calafiori now he needs to start this game because he's suspended for the next one. So Calafiori needs to play at left back. Just like Luke rightly said, we can't rotate too much in defense. I want to see Victor Gyökeres starting in this game. For me, Gyökeres needs to start. He needs to use this one, build up. Use this game to build up his minutes and match sharpness going into the Wolf game. I want to see Gyökeres starting against Wolf on the weekend. So for me, Gyökeres needs to start this game. Maybe start the game, don't finish it, and bring in someone else to replace him. But I think this is a game that needs to use to stay, get that match sharpness back. Saka, I don't want to see Saka starting this one. Also, Saka needs to rest. Madueke needs to start. So, but when I look at the players that needs to come in and start, for me, I think we have the players that can, that can beat Club Brugge. With all due respect to them. So for me, I want to go with a 2-1 victory to Arsenal or 1-0 victory. I think it's going to be a close game. If we ends in a draw, I'm not going to be disappointed because I expect the team to be a highly rotated team, in my opinion.
You know what? With both of you, I agree, because you basically done the team talk for me, because I feel the same way. I do feel the same way as you, especially with Gyökeres up front. I wouldn't play Saka. Noni Madueke would come in for me. You know what I mean? And also Christian Norgard, he's a Premier League player. He's a Premier League player. He needs to play. You know what I mean? I don't think.
And Nwaneri.
Play.
Nwaneri. Yeah.
You know, and also part of European experience, regardless of say if we're drawing or even if we're winning, say 2-1, for example, it'd be a case of give Max Dowman some minutes, because I find with Max Dowman, you see, he for me he's like he's a freak Luke Littler of football. You know what I mean? And he's just one of those that's just, or what's his name? Who's the young dark Scottish player who won the youth championship yesterday but finished runners up in the WDF World Dart Championship. Mitchell Laurie. He's only like 15 years old, and he's like a Luke Littler as well. Max Dowman, he's, you know what? Age is no barrier if you're good at something, And I love Max Dowman. I'm not saying start Max Dowman, but I would give him 20 minutes.
I mean, AFC always saying that definitely those three, Rice, Timber, and Saka. I don't want to see starting.
I don't want to see him either.
Yeah, I would leave all three of them at home as well. I'd say don't even don't even take them over. Take
100%.
Yeah, take Madueke, and then you could take Max Dowman he'll be on the bench, and he can come on for 20 minutes maybe. there's not the defense is there's not apart if you're resting Timber, there's not a lot else you can do because of the injuries we've got. So that means Ben White having to play another game.
Yeah,
but Hincapié has to play.
Yep, has to.
I would add. Sorry, Luke. I would add. Maybe we can throw in a young defender in there. Maybe Salmon, someone else.
Well, it'd have to, because if we're not taking Timber, then someone from the under 20 that Salmon has to play.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and the Wolves game, I think, lads, are just the Wolves game for me is a lot more important than the Bruges game.
Yeah,
considering we're only 2 points out, and plus with Bruges, well, I say it, the Champions League games we know are always important, but this is the five wins out of 5. I mean, wow. You know what I mean? We're in a very good position to finish in the top 8. So this is one of these games where we can afford a draw.
And I would as well. If I saw a midfield, I would even like to see even try playing Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield as well. I was going
to say that as well.
If I saw a midfield of Lewis-Skelly, Norgard, and Waneri, I'd be really excited for that game and see the youngster Salmon. And then you have a front three of Gyökeres, Madueke, and whoever you can play on the left, maybe another youngster. Because or if Martinelli, I know that if Martinelli can start that game, you stick him on. I think that's a good team. I think that's definitely a team that you're chancing it, but I think you have to take a chance. And you think, well, if we could just play this game and get a 1-0 or a 2-1 or a 1-0 with that team, but I'd be excited to watch that team as well, though, because it's new players that we haven't seen much. And we might, if we keep playing Declan Rice the way we are, it might be good to at least have one game of seeing Lewis-Skelly in midfield, because he might be the next man up.
Yeah, exactly that. But gents, go on
and to add to what Luke is saying, maybe this might just be the game to put Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I put him in. I put him in an 8.
Yeah,
I put him in an 8. He's got that left peg. Put him in an 8.
He plays there anyway. That's what he does when he plays left back. He does that anyway.
Yeah, exactly that. So he wouldn't be out of position at all. He wouldn't be out of place. You know what I mean? And I think he'd be all right there, more comfortable there than he would be at left back. But listen, gents, we have to end it there. And I appreciate both of you coming on. This has been really good. It's been really good. I've enjoyed this. And also we've got big up to the likes of Arsenal above all. I was in the chat earlier, and the AFC always, AFC 777. Big up to you guys, and big up to Gary DWTT as well.
Yeah.
And Gary, I'll be tuning in for a little bit later on. I know it's late, but I'll have work the following day. But I'm not working early, so I'll definitely be tuning tomorrow. And also, like, share, follow these guys as well, please. And also Arsenal above all. We check out his stream later on, 8:45. That's going to be interesting. They'll be dissecting the Saturday's defeat. And but Luke, but big up to you, sir. And where can anyone find you?
Well, you can find me in Brenny's channel, and I've been in the chat in Bobby's channel as well, Football Takeover. I'm not really I don't have my own channel and not really much on social. So yeah, if you might see me again on here.
You're a Kenny Ken, because he doesn't have his own channel, and that's one guy who should have his own channel, because he's just amazing. I love watching Kenny Ken on streams, regardless of what stream he's on. He could be on a at the end of the day, it's an Arsenal channel wherever he's on. It could even be someone who's Arteta out. It could be someone who's Arteta in. But I love listening to what he has to say. You know what I mean? And yeah, definitely okay again. You and Nick. Akpos, big up to you, sir. Where can everyone find you?
Thanks for having me on the channel, Brenny. Shout out to Luke. Big up to everybody. Big up to everybody that tuned in today. Guys, if you're doing a rewatch, you've not subscribed to the channel, please press that subscribe button. Support the fantastic work, Brenny and all the gents that tune in on the on the channel as panel members are doing on the channel. It's been a fantastic time. A very nice discussion with Brenny and Luke today. I've enjoyed it, and everybody that tuned in. And you can always find me here on the channel. I would try to be be on the screens here as much as I can, so you can find me here on the channel, also on Steve the Orsigonus channel, on my channel, Football Talk Shop, and hopefully very soon I need to also go back to the Football Takeover channel, be on there with the likes of Guy, the likes of Bobby and the others, Ali.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Football Takeover crew. It's been a fantastic one, everybody. I'm honored to be back on the channel to talk about Arsenal, and hopefully we get all 3 points against Club Brugge, and also get back to winning ways against Wolverhampton Wanderers in the weekend. Shout out to everybody.
Yeah, big up to you all, man. Big up to you all. And also, thank you as well to AFC 777. Yeah, I am still on the road to 100 subscribers, and when I get there, I'm going to celebrate with a can of Coke Zero. So yeah, but but thank you, gents, man. It's been educational, and catch up to anyone, and come on, the Arsenal.